Alright, this is a video review for ERQ iFruit. Um, it's an Elise game. He asked basically to look at the early pressure. And first thing I'm going to start with runes masteries. For the runes we have, looks like he's got a couple of attack speed quints, an AP quint, magic pen, armor, cooldowns, and AP. Overall these look pretty standard. Attack speed quints are okay. In my opinion, they're okay for runes, but maybe not the best on Elise. First of all, I'll point out that they're very gold efficient early game, and they do synergize well with her, like the new healing on her W in spider form. Um, but honestly, because spider form does already kind of give attack speed, you're increasing that additively rather than increasing it multiplicatively with AP. So I imagine this might have a little bit less of an early game impact than just 3 AP quints. And then as you rotate into the mid game, its significance might build up. So if you're having trouble with early game, maybe switch to all 3 AP. But other than that, there's no like these are fine as they are. Um, Looks like masteries are 0, 12, 18. You're going deep into the cunning tree to get this HP heal on kill. I see more Elises going 12, 0, 18 than this. My first comment is that this move speed one is like I never ever see anyone other than supports running it, because this here does damage to minions and monster creeps like in the jungle. And if you are in the cunning tree at all, you should get this because it does really significantly increase the power of your first clear. So if you're gonna go cunning, you might as well put these points into butcher instead. But I do see a lot of people take ferocity, especially now that there's this like 3% increased damage by allies, which basically helps you better guarantee a gank. And so yeah, I mean it's not bad. I do like your investment here into Strength of the Ages. That definitely is probably the best mastery keystone on Elise. Again, you're here and here. You're investing into move speed. I, I I know they look really good on paper, but both of these have really panned out over the beginning of the season to be useless. So I'm thinking having better damage to minions here and better defenses against minions here just help make your ganks that much more reliable in the long run. And against this team, looks like he went for the extra 80 or armor and MR, which I think is a better option. The only CC really worth worrying about here is Morgana's Q. So the tenacity would really help against that, but most of these other targets don't. So it's probably better to go here. Anyway, so that's basically it for runes and masteries. I do want to point out I'm not a big Elise main, so I'm not that like familiar with her skill order, but looks like a Q max is probably the best bet with E max last. You should definitely check out pro builds to see if like the other pros agree with you. Their website's often slow, so I'll let you do that on your own. But make sure that this is an agreeable spell order. Okay, one thing here, I don't know if this is common, but you're sitting here for 40 seconds so far. I mean, even more. Okay, looks like you just didn't connect. You should figure out why. There's often client problems that you can like reinstalling the client, but if that's common, you should figure that out, because it basically puts your teammates on insta tilt even if you do get here by 50 seconds, and it basically puts you up for a really big invade. Their team doesn't have a strong invade level 1, but you never know.
I'm fucking ready. Let's go.
Okay, so it looks like standard start. You're gonna pull a leash from them. One thing that's worth asking, Blitzcrank started Relic Shield. It's worth asking him, hey, can you tank 1 or 2 melee hits against this Gromp? Because Gromp is the highest damage start, where you take more damage from Gromp than any of the other camps. So it's nice to have your support take 1 or 2 hits because he's going to go and use his relic shield and heal up 80 health anyway. So it's just worth asking. A lot of times, especially in bronze and silver, people don't, but it's worth asking. Looks like he didn't. He took 1, not 2. So you were a good 40 health lower than you should have been. Not terrible. I'm going to slow this down because I want to see your Spiderling tanking. I've watched enough of these games to know. Okay, so both Spiderlings are dead, and you switch out. That's good. You use 1 spell. You're kiting. Good. Okay, so overall, your actual mechanics against like the PVM, they seem to be strong, where you know what you're doing in terms of like use your Spiderlings. You're staying in Spider form too long here. As soon as you run out of your attack speed buff, you should switch out and begin to kite again. And you should have also, when you had these 2 left, you should have switched to human form and used your volatile spider. It'd give you a free stack of your like a new baby Spiderling, and you'd have that up by the time you get back to these. So I would have definitely, like sometime towards the end of that buff, switched out a little bit of micro play to help keep a healthier start. And okay. So I don't know why you're passing over these. Maybe you feel you're too low on health. Maybe you feel that Nidalee is a risky person to leave your jungle open. What you could have and should have probably done is ask Shaco here to ward this entrance. Like, probably just pop a ward right here. I don't like sacrificing this, especially against a Nidalee. One of your biggest things against Nidalee, and Nidalee's like my #1 jungler, so I kind of know how to play against her. You want to keep a good control over your jungle. She's obviously already a good half a camp ahead of you with Scuttle almost being dead, but you should definitely have asked your mid for a ward right here so that you can finish your wolves. You want to be level 3 by the time you go into your jungle, because otherwise she is going to completely murder you without you having your stun. So I definitely wouldn't have skipped wolves there. Okay, so because you skipped wolves, I think this is the best option. You're weak. You know she's going to have a level advantage on you because she just farms so much faster that if you do ever meet up with her... anyway, so I think you did the right thing. If you skip wolves, you should also skip wraiths. Immediately clear this so that she doesn't have like a level 3 versus barely like a weak... You know, if she did what I would do as Nidalee, which is Gromp, Blue, wolves, and then here, she would have already met you and been a higher level. So it's nice to just get this under control first. So I don't disagree. I do disagree with skipping wolves, but if I was to skip wolves, I would have also skipped wraiths. Gone right here to clear that immediately. Another reason for that is Tryndamere seems to be winning his lane push, so it's nice to get this taken now while he can run over and help you in case you get invaded on. So, not a bad idea. I don't like that word. I like it here a little bit better. This only gives you a couple seconds, but at least you're having a ward up against a Nidalee. One thing I really love is Nidalee is junglers who don't ward properly. That's probably a B+ ward. This would probably be a little bit better. You can put a ward here, and then you can stand here. You get the same vision from your own body covering this, but you also get the vision of her entering here, so that in case she like tries to take your wraiths or something. Okay, so one thing you should be looking at for is you mentioned your early game, like lack of pressure. While clearing buffs, you should be mousing over lanes. This is a worthless lane. At least might be able to force a tower dive, but on a Nasus it's kind of risky because Nasus is going to wither Tryndamere and cut his damage down by half. So this lane might be a lane you might want to only gank if Nasus is pushing. Or as soon as Tryndamere gets 6, it's definitely safe to gank for him, but ignore this lane. This lane looks like a really prime lane for ganking. Yasuo is aggressive by nature, so he's always going to be at this gankable line. Shaco has weird shenaniganry he can play to help set up for a gank. Like he can sit here, key over the wall, and come around to help you. I would definitely focus on ganking this lane, so I'd definitely focus on building a communication between you and Shaco to get this lane set up. bot lane just got a solo kill, which basically means they got a kill without their jungler help. So it looks like the synergy between these two is really strong. For the early game, you should let them do their own thing. You're going to be wasting pressure by helping them already win a lane that they're already winning. But for like the early mid game, maybe around 8 minutes when you've finished your first jungle item or something, around 8 minutes, this would be a good lane to gank again so that you can get dragon control. Another thing you might want to focus on with a Nidalee and a really aggressive bottom lane is keeping this warded for Blitz, or just helping him by placing a ward in either of these, because you should know by now they're going to get ganked to hell, because it's a Nidalee, she ganks everything ever, and they're winning their lane. But while you're still clearing camps, those are all really important things to be thinking of. Okay, so it looks like you did my inclination, which is go from red to gank here. Let's make sure that's what you do, so you don't waste this time. Okay, so I don't know what you did. You walked here, you saw, hopefully, let me go back. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to actually remove the ability to cheat. Okay, so let's see if, I don't know what you did. Maybe you noticed that Scuttle was gone. Yeah, you saw the edge of Scuttle. So you know Scuttle's gone, so now you should go here. He's pushed. You can flash E him, get a kill. You can get here before the minions can get here. So right now, he's got no meat shields against your stun. It's a guaranteed gank. Especially if you didn't walk to this brush, but if you walked immediately down to here, you should have recognized, okay, he's got no minions to block him. My minions are at my tower, so his minions are right here. So this is a really easy, easiest case scenario is you flash E him, you get the kill. Maybe a somewhat easy, safe scenario is if you save flash for another gank, you could still basically just E him. So I wouldn't have bothered to check this. I would have just gone immediately for him. But even after checking this, I would have still gone and basically gotten this free kill of a Yasuo overextending against an Elise. Instead, you pressure a lane that's already winning. I don't understand what you did. This lane's already winning. He is super safe against Nasus in level 1 to 3. And even if Nidalee ganks him, Nidalee has no CC, so you should realize that her gank patterns rely on another person locking them up, or her simply just outbursting someone before they can escape. But a Tryndamere with E and Flash can get away from a Nidalee. So even if she lands Spear and Pounce, he'll just E away, and then she can't do anything from there. So there was no reason to waste all... basically, you from here up to here, you wasted a good 13 seconds. You allowed this lane to refresh. You're allowing Yasuo to keep his upper hand, and he would have won that without you doing anything. So I think that was a good waste of time. And now you can't seem to decide what to do. When I was here, and you put your spiderling in the little brush here, you saw nothing happened. You saw Nasus Tryndamere got his kill. I would have just immediately cleared Krugs. I would have just pathed right up here, cleared Krugs, gotten that free gold, probably backed after Krubs to finish the jungle item. Okay, you're going down to chickens. Clearing your central camps first is oftentimes a worse option, because if you're already on the side of the map, you might as well clear the camps on the side before going mid, because now your option from here is to go back to Krugs, which is a bad place for you to be because you're then on the edge of anything useful. Or your option is to go to Wolves, which wouldn't be terrible, but then when you go to base and come back, you don't have Wolves to pick up. Or your option would be to gank mid. But the longer you wait to gank this, the less likely it is to gank. And this lane is here, so this one is here, so he's going to have his meat shields in about 4 seconds. So I don't like coming up here all the way to chickens, because once you take these chickens, you've got no other options. In general, I think you spend too much time in spider form. You see how full your mana is. Obviously the advantage of spider form is that you don't use mana, but you should be cycling better between spider and human form to better control your HP bar, because spider or human form allows you to kite. This camp here isn't really very kiteable, but it does have AoE damage, and so you should have at least used your WQ in human form on this camp. Okay, so now you've decided to gank a Yasuo who has all of this safety. I'm 90% sure this gank is going to fail, because he's got no wave, which basically means Yasuo's only decision. After killing this cannon, Yasuo is just going to run this way. Yasuo has no incentive to stay here. He's playing really defensively from how far back he is, because he knows he's losing the lane. So trying to commit to this gank is now like a 10% chance of succeeding, rather than the first one I was pointing out, which is like an 80% chance. This is like a 10% chance of succeeding, because Yasuo's got all these delicious meat shields here that he's just going to walk here and you cannot stun him at all. So unless Yasuo badly plays this gank that's about to happen, you're just going to waste, hopefully no summoners, but you're going to waste time. Okay, so he badly played. Yasuo screwed that up really badly. He windwalled nothing. Like, why the hell did he windwall? The worst case is he's just going to windwall Shaco's little, like, knife thing, which does almost no damage. He also had that was such a stupid decision of him. It was good of you to come capitalize after he windwalled. He deserves to die because he's retarded and he played his champion wrongly. Yeah, okay. So, like I said, your only chance of succeeding in that gank was for him to die, and he did. Okay. Your decision to take wolves here is probably the bad decision. The first reason why is you now have 878 gold, so you have enough to finish your jungle item and a ward, or jungle item and 2 pots or something. I would do that to continue to have your power in line with Nidalee. You should just know, facing a Nidalee, that she's always really powerful. She's always going to have more camps than you. This Nidalee's bad, so she doesn't. But as soon as you get a meaningful power spike, you should immediately go back to base and take it, especially if your jungle camps are allowing you to. So you're here. What you could have done is just gone here and backed, because as you come back to lane, wolves will still be here for you to take. So you can go here, get your jungle item, come back, take wolves, take Gromp, and then gank bottom. Or you can go here, take wolves, take Scuttle, and ward here to help bottom not get feasted on. I don't think taking wolves, you're not going to gain anything meaningful from it. You'll gain another like 75 gold, which will maybe be another pink ward. But you have your item break point. You have that 750 gold for a jungle item. So I would have just gone back to base. There's no reason. This is just kind of delaying your meaningful power spike, and you're not going to pick up another one with it. The next breakpoint for Elise is obviously just picking up like an amplifying tome for 435, but you definitely don't have that much, and you won't have that much even after clearing these. So I would have just gone to base to get that jungle item and then clear these, because they'll be waiting for you on your way back to mid. Plus, another advantage of you going back to base is that you're back while time with Yasuo's back. He just burned flash during the gank. Neither of you guys burned flash during the gank, which is the jungler's invitation to continue to gank. So another benefit of you going back is it coincides with Yasuo coming. You'll be able to come back as soon as Yasuo does and hopefully gank him again. You smited the wolves, probably just because it was up and it's an unempowered smite. I think that was the right idea, though. You always want to keep an eye on your jungle with Nidalee through the 6 to 45 minute mark. As soon as it's like 6 minutes and you have the ability to ward everywhere, you gotta ward your jungle. I like smiting wolves, it's a good idea. Again, you're spending too much time in human form. Okay, my game just went up, even though I'm locked on you, it occasionally unlocks. Nidalee just showed top. Somebody pinged her. I can't really tell who because I don't have that chat enabled. That's a good invitation to gank bot, even when you're here without much power, because you only have like your Hunter's Talisman. Nidalee being here is your opportunity to take them, take this, So because you didn't back, you at least now have the opportunity to take this. Because Italy's up here. She's got a minimum of 20 seconds to get back to her Krugs. You might as well go in and take the free gold because she showed up top. Or you might as well gank bottom if you can force it. This is a little bit more risky of a counter jungle. Bottom lane is winning. He's gone. And Italy most likely is going to come up mid after she backs from top lane. So this you have a really like a good 30 to 40% chance of getting seen. And if you are seen by this Nidalee, you will not live from that because she's got Yasuo's help to come over and you don't have help. So I would have came down to Krugs because your bot lane's winning. So they have an easier chance of coming here mid or to help you. And she's just less likely to come check Krugs anyway because most mids will like most jungles will start at their raids and then move to the outsides of the map. So hopefully you don't get caught here. That word's a good word to have up all game. It's definitely helpful also while counter jungling. I guess your only consolation prize of you coming here was being able to get that word up also. Okay, this is a good gank to go for. You missed your E, which is unfortunate, but you did basically force him out of lane. So that was a good gank. Had you gone back and gotten more items, I think that gank would have been more successful. If you had gotten Chilling Smite, you could have timed Chilling Smite with your E to better E him. So that just kind of goes to show that the first gank you should have backed, got your item Power Spike, got your Combat Smite, and that gank would have been much more likely to succeed if you had those items. Yeah, you're going for Tracker Smite. I would agree with that. I'm more of a fan of it than most people are. Against an Italy, it's good to keep an eye on her movements, defensively and offensively, because if an Italy is caught out before she can get a good spear on you, then she's basically useless and it's easy to kill her. So I like Tracker Smite. It obviously would not have helped you in the Yasuo gank, but okay. You just passed 2 delicious camps and Scuttle Crab with nothing to do. Like, you can't gank bottom because he's gone. You can't really gank mid because the wave is pushed. And because Yasuo is still kind of winning his lane against Shaco. So skipping, like, these camps were basically just, you should have just taken these while you were waiting for the rest of the map to be primed for the gank. So you should have recognized here as you're walking down, you can't gank bottom because you're literally walking like next to Blitzcrank. You basically should have realized, like, okay, like every time you go to base, you need to think of, should I farm or should I gank? And you can't gank this because it's like he's low on mana and his Blitzcrank is gone. And you can't gank this because it's pushed up. And you can't gank this because you're already pathing down to the bottom of the map. So you're like, you should have just taken these. And blue buff is going to come up in like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So I probably would have done Gromp, blue buff, and then Scuttle, or Gromp, blue buff, Wolves, and just done like my whole jungle rotation again. You've basically wasted the opportunity to get levels up on Italy, who currently is tied with you because she's bad. At this point, if I was playing Italy, I'd probably be level 7 already. So it's hard to get free games like this. Okay, so it looks like your idea is to catch her out while she's getting her buff spawn. That's a bad idea because, like I said, if I'm playing Nidalee in this game, I would be level 7 right now. I would have 2 levels on you. My Q would be level 4 or 3. It'd be level 3, and my like Cougar form bite would be like 200 damage. This is really risky and really greedy, especially with Yasuo pushing up, especially with you only having one person in lane here. Let her get her own jungle. You don't have to counter jungle every single game. If you can clear your own jungle, you're prohibiting Nidalee from getting fed just by doing that. So this is super risky. It might pay off in a bronze game, but if I was Nidalee, I would be around here because I know my red buff would be coming up soon. Actually, no, Nidalee started top, but you probably didn't really know that. I just don't like being in Nidalee's jungle without at this like really crucial moment in the game where you don't have your level 6 spike and she does because she should be farming faster. Yeah, so it looks like you were trying to check her buff spawn because you also thought she started bottom because 90% of people start bottom. I don't like it. You should have died there if she had started bottom. Again, lots of indecision. This wave is pushed. It would have been good if you had come straight up here. Because you can, basically if you can catch a person as he's pushing, that's more likely to kill them than if you can catch him after he's pushed. So if I scroll back 15 seconds, you're sitting here at the red buff, you just realize it's not worth ganking. Yasuo's about to crash this wave into his, take those creeps. I'm gonna watch your movement on the minimap down here. So if you had actually pathed from here, maybe go around this way to avoid getting seen here, but if you had pathed from here straight up there, you would have caught Yasuo right here. You could have caught him with an E because he's retarded and he keeps throwing his wind wall up for no reason. This indecision with the pathing is again costing you the opportunity for this free kill. Because catching him after he pushed is worthless. You know he's going to be back here to safety. If you catch him while he's pushing, you'll know he's going to back up. He's not going to have minions to meet shield, and you can get a free gank that way. So now you're clearing blue. You should have switched to human form a couple of times during clearing this. The slower you clear, the farther behind you get in levels. Okay, I don't know what this whole cute little I'm gonna walk up to this brush and come back was. Shaco was obviously backing. It was obviously 1v0. Best case was him 1v1 against Nidalee, but Nidalee has a level on you. You see her now. You know she has a level on you, so you know it's not worth fighting her. It's just a little bit of indecision in you walking here and back. Okay, you took Scuttle. What's your next decision? Think about that. Maybe even pause the YouTube video and think, what is my next decision? You should be seeing here, Blitzcrank is, I don't know, he's half health. They've got a full wave coming up. Looks like the wave is still kind of pushed to here. So this is not the best decision. This is worthless. She's going to crash this wave to here and then go farm her own crap. So you have really two good decisions. You can meet her here and try and catch her out, but that's a bad decision because you don't have reinforcements. He's in base. Yasuo is spawning, and I'm walking back as I'm saying this. So hopefully you don't go try and meet her here. Your other option is to farm your own camps, and so that's what I would do. I would just go farm Gromp, Wolves, and then back, or Gromp, Wolves, and then make this rotation up here. Okay, I guess catching that farm is not a bad idea. I didn't even think about that because I'm tired, I guess, but catching that farm is a decent idea. What it did, actually, catching the farm is a terrible idea from what you've done now. If you had caught the farm, what you should have done was taken these two and then backed, because as soon as you take both of these, you're on the side of the map, you can't really make a play, so you might as well back and continue to build your, to convert this gold that you have. You have 840 gold, so you have enough for a, what do you call it, Aether Wisp. You might as well take these two and go back, get the Aether Wisp. I don't know, now that you're up here, first of all, you should have taken these first for the sake of efficiency. Take these and then take your buff. If you're worried about Nidalee counter jungling, drop a trinket right here. But not only that, but I just don't like you being up here right now. There's no plays you can make. You might as well have taken these, gained some gold, gained some power, and then maybe made a play up here. So when you don't have spiderlings to tank for you, you have no reason to be in spider form. You might as well be in human form to kite with. Okay, you're gonna force another play mid, mostly because Yasuo is bad. You being here is just greedy. He's obviously gonna win this fight. Hopefully you saw that and you're just gonna come up here to try and contest Scuttle. That's not there, but you might not know it's not there. So let's see. Yeah, you're coming mid. You just wasted a bunch of time because you know he won that fight. Scuttle's sitting right there. Nidalee just showed bottom, so you're gonna take this. Okay, taking these is also good. You smite that so you get vision. You're gonna take this. Good. Okay. I like that counter jungle decision. If they show up on the other side of the map and get a double kill, pisses me off really bad. You might as well get the consolation prize of their own camps. So that was a good place for you to be after Nidalee won that gank. This is not a bad idea because he's got his ult. So hopefully you can, yeah, good. Good. I like that tower dive. That was the right decision. Anytime Tryndamere can tower dive after level 6, that's a good thing. So I like that decision. Take this, take this, take this, good. And then just base. Go back to base immediately. You now have 1700 gold. Just go back to base. That's enough gold to finish your smite item. You're wasting time, you're wasting power. If Nidalee catches you, you're dead. You're wasting time. Finish this item. Finish this item. Okay, so Nidalee and Yasuo showed mid. They're way freaking stronger than you because she's got an Aether Wisp, so she's got a crapload of more AP and move speed. You've just got nothing. You've got no combat stats. Yasuo has these two items, so if he hits you with this, you take an extra. I mean, like, if you had been engaged on in a 2v2 mid, you guys would have lost it. Mostly because of this Aether Wisp. But if you had gone back to base here, like after taking this, gone back to base in this brush, then you would have the full jungle item and you would have been able to destroy them in that 2v2. So you need to convert on your power spikes as soon as you get them. This is now the 4th time you've walked past your wolves without taking them. Okay, I mean, never mind, that was fine. Okay, again, you got the wolves. Go back to base. You've got way too much freaking gold in your pocket. Go back to base. You can't make a play here because the wave is pushing. You can't make a play here because he doesn't have ult, so he just got it. But I still think go back to base. Convert on your power spike. You being in base is frustrating, but you'll do more damage and you'll have more impact once you're back on the map. There's no reason to take these. And actually taking these when you don't even have smite. Oh, you just used it. Okay, never mind. Still, okay, you're trying to force a 2v1 sitting here, but you have no power. You've got no combat stats. He now has a full shiv. If you try and engage this, you're going to lose the fight because you've got no freaking power. You're going to go help him out. Okay, that's annoying, frustrating, but nothing you can really do. Okay, you're finally backing. Finish your smite item, get boots. Get boots. Okay, good. Okay, now that you're coming back out here, you have your full power spike. This is a freaking huge power. That's why this item is so OP. It's because it offers way too much power at one point in the game. You get a lot of AP, you get a lot of move speed, and you get this like 80 damage bonus on your spell. So this is a huge, giant freaking power spike that you need to decide what to do with. Dragon's not up. This lane is pushed. Unfortunately, my best bet would be for you to go top and take Rift Herald with this power spike, but you have this blue buff that you need to contest, so you're kind of obligated to go take this. So maybe what you can do is take this, and then make a tower dive, or take this and just make a tower dive, or something like that. That's probably your best bet. is to just take these two and then go down here and like maybe sit in this brush for like a counter gank or something. Another problem with you sitting so long out in the jungle before you backed last time is your blue buff has been sitting here for about a minute and a half without being taken. Okay, you're rotating back to these now because they're up. That's not a bad idea. Forcing this play here is not as useful as just taking these buffs. You passed by Wraiths, even though Elise clears Wraiths in like 4 seconds with Runic Echoes, so you should have just taken these, gotten the free gold, gotten the Smite upgrade, or the the buff. Don't skip these. That's about 100 gold that you skipped for the sake of 4 seconds. Okay, this cute little clown fiesta here is what happens all the freaking time in bronze, and it's something that you just need to ignore as a jungle. There's a post on like the front of the Summoner School right now, like a Trick to G video, where he's saying like basically don't waste time following your team if they're making the wrong decision. Sitting here is the wrong decision. You've got nothing to gain. You've got a good like 12 seconds before this wave even hits mid, which means Yasuo's gonna sit here for 12 seconds. That's it. Just take this. It looks like Nidalee's up there because I can see this on the spectator client. No, Nasus is up there. I would just either take this or continue to farm your own jungle while they're in here like holding their own decks, because there's nothing to gain from being here. There's nothing to gain from being here. So you guys lost that fight. I'm gonna slow it down. I want to see what happened in that fight. That fight shouldn't have happened. You guys are fighting over nothing, which happens a lot in bronze and frustrates me because like maybe you're fighting over the Lurf Herald, but like that's not really all that worth fighting over. You're not fighting over control of a mid because before the fight started there was no waves in mid to really do anything with. It just seems like you guys are fighting for the sake of fighting, and Tryndamere was the guy who basically invited Nasus to come down and fuck you guys all over because he shouldn't have been here. He had no business being here because mid lane really had nothing to do. But Tryndamere being here invited Nidalee and Nasus to come in and basically wreck them. But I'm going to see why you guys lost that fight so bad. Other than like Shaco doesn't really help in a 3v3, and his ult is going to be gone by the time it gets there. That's probably the big reason you guys lost the fight, is he didn't have an ult to use, but let's actually kind of look at what could have been used in the fight. Okay, you see Nidalee and you see Nasus. This is your guys' opportunity to say, fuck that, I'm out. You should be spam pinging this with your yellow or your red ping. He should be going up here, because he'll get there faster and he'll be able to just push this into the wave. You see these two. They're both full health, they're both full mana, and she has a bigger power spike than you because she got 3 kills. This is your guys' job to say, screw that, I am not taking this fight, I'm going to lose it. Instead, both of you willingly jump in 2v2 against 2 targets who are arguably stronger than you, and you just get blown up instantly. Okay, so like in true bronze fashion, it was an even fight, even though they were destined to win it. I still think that you guys should have peeled off. That was not an even fight. He's got double buffs, which means he now owns Nasus for the next 3 minutes, and he's gonna push this into the wave. And he's taking your farm, which, I mean, that was his right decision to take that, but it was a really terrible fight for you guys to take. So let's go see you. You bought, good, looks like you're going for Abyssal Scepter. I don't know what you're going for, actually. I think Abyssal Scepter is the right choice right here on Elise. With, really only Nidalee's the big problem, so you don't need a ton of AP resists, but Abyssal Scepter will help you in duels against her. Okay, where did that come from? I want to watch that a bit again. My pause button is no longer working, which is annoying. Okay, so Nidalee's been up here cutely poking you because you know they're about to take dragon. With Nasus being pushed in so much, with Trindamir's teleport being off, just give them away the dragon. It looks like they're trying to do cute little bronze things and sit in this brush. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They should have had dragon by now, and you should have been willing to give it up. So it looks like you didn't get caught, which is a good thing. Shaco, on the main hand, did a really good thing, and he just said, okay, you guys can be here doing stupid stuff. I'm going to take your turret in your jungle. So Shaco's the MVP within the last minute and a half here. Rotating up to this Nasus was the right idea, so good job on making the good idea. You threw out your Spiderling on the wave. I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter, but you should have saved your Spiderling. Just Yasuo things. Following up the ult because you can, for no reason. Yeah. That was cute. Okay. You killed Nasus up here. Their whole team was down here. I don't know why they didn't take dragon yet. This Nidalee's retarded. But when you were here, and you almost got caught, and you managed to escape, and they rotated up to kill Nasus, you had two options. You had help him push, or go back to base. They were obviously going to take this tower. Blitzcrank getting here faster than you just means Blitzcrank's going to die. You can see they just pinged him, so he's going to die. Go back to base, let your teammates do whatever stupid shit they want, and just make the smart choice. There's two wards here, you might as well clear them, but he's dead. If their team is any good. Okay, well it's bronze stuff, so they didn't dive him like they should have. This Shaco, meanwhile, this is what happens in bronze all the time. They're tunnel visioning 4 people on this side of the map, while 1 and 2 people are taking free stacks of gold. So this is you kind of getting carried by your teammates. But if you notice, like I said, you should have backed up here, because in the last minute and 10 seconds or so, you haven't really done much. You've walked up here, you cleared 2 wards, and gotten 0 CS. But if you had backed, then you would have been able to spend this 1500 gold on something useful, on whatever it is you're going to build. So just don't be afraid to go in base a lot. If there's really nothing for a jungler to do because of the way that the lanes are, then just don't do anything. Hopefully you get a kill on this Tristana. His ult slows, and anyone who's slowed should be immediately killed by Elise, because she can land a cocoon on anyone who's slowed. Okay, so that's basically their team being stupid and way overstaying. It seems like when your mid and top got their towers, Tristana was just like, shit, I should get a tower because I really screwed up here. And not only did she get the, well, she got the tower, but she lost the, she died. Yeah. He's going to solo this. It looks like that's the right decision because their team is obviously going to be on these. So the Shaco's smart. And he's hella fed because you were able to camp him. You're sitting in base. You've been here for about 40 seconds. I can't tell what you're buying. These items don't really add up. These two add up for like a Spirit Visage. These two, like the Needlessly and the Ruby Crystal, add up for like Rylai's, but neither Spirit Visage or Rylai should be your second buy in this game. So I don't know what you're building, but the indecision in your build path is definitely a problem. Taking these is right. You should take these, then red. Red's just sitting here. Yasuo can't do anything to you. Oh, there's 2 of them. Okay, coming to defend this is right. I didn't notice Nidalee was there, so coming to defend against 2 is definitely the better decision. Shaco should Q hop right now and kill him. If a Nidalee is running away from you, you should not be hugging walls, because as the Nidalee main myself, as I run away, I always throw spears along the sides of walls. So you shouldn't have been hugging that wall, because she was definitely going to just spear between both of those. With the Fed Nidalee being in this side of the map, you should have dropped this in like probably here or here, because you just always want to keep whatever side of the map Nidalee is on, you want to keep warded. She's bad. That flash was bad. She's dead. She was way out of position. He's down because he's focusing his attacks on him, but if you had flash, you should have flash cocooned her. I'm gonna go back and show you. So you're gonna blow flash here, which is probably just an accident. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like it was just an accident. But she's gonna come all the way up here and be way out of position. Here's where you flash Q. Before she goes behind Nasus, just flash Q. She's dead. Because you'll flash Q, or flash E. I mean, Blitzcrank would then pull her because she's a stunned target. That's just a little bit of like a micro mechanical thing that would have helped you out in that play. She's dead because she stepped on his trap. Yeah. Meanwhile, Shaco doing Shaco things, and he's smart. He's not being distracted by this little... because he's basically dedicating himself as the, like, 1v0, you should be with your team. Because the two people being 1v0 is often means your team's just going to die in the 5v3. So it's kind of good that you're, like, up here with this, like, skirmishing shit. Because he's doing his job correctly. But you won't have every game where you have one person who's willing to make the right choices. So, just so you know, you being up here fighting isn't really bad anymore because he's doing the 1v0. I'm gonna fast forward a bit. Taking your camp. You should have just taken... Okay, so you have an inhibitor. He just got 2 solo kills, so it's a 3v5. You should have jumped on Baron instantly. Yes, Nidalee is still alive, but Nidalee is so squishy that she can't really steal Baron. I've only done it like once or twice as Nidalee, whereas I've done it a lot more with someone like Lee Sin or someone who's actually tanky. So you should just force the Baron against the Nidalee. Probably take the Scuttled Crab before Baron so that it's safer. But as soon as he got his 2 solo kills, just tell your whole team, let's kill Baron right now and end this game at like 27 minutes. Okay. Now it's an even easier decision to take Baron. Their jungler's dead. Take Baron right now. He's being stupid and being lured by this wave that you can get after Baron, but if he was still here, if you had made the Baron call while he was still here, then you guys would have taken it and won the game. Instead, you're going to help push this tower. You guys way overcommitted to that. It's a Nasus after 20 minutes. You can't 2v1 him. He's no longer doing the right thing. He should be using his pressure on the bot lane. I don't like that he's still pushing mid because mid's pushing itself. Hopefully he doesn't die. Okay, you got Rylai second. I don't like that idea. You don't really need to be like... I guess because you're your team's only tank, it's nice to have the health. I don't like Rylai's as a second item in this particular game, though. I would have probably gone Abyssal Scepter to help out with these micro skirmishes, or I don't know. I mean, it's not bad. There's kind of not that many good second item choices, and as a non-Elise main, I don't really know naturally what I would do. If I was just Nidalee, that's a terrible first item, second item. I would have definitely gone Abyssal Scepter because she's going to be skirmishing with you so much. I mean, it just kind of goes to show. I've gone Abyssal Scepter, or probably just Rod of Ages first, actually. It just depends, but yeah. So you're taking their camps because you guys have map control. That's the easy decision to make. Their jungler is now dead again. With a dead jungler, Baron should always be the call. Yes, you have 3 people bottom, so maybe taking this turret is a little bit better, but like, I think it's dumb in a game that's already 25 minutes in to have 3 people on bottom, because if you have 3 people bottom, they can go 5v2 Baron. Yasuo should have been down here by himself because Tryndamere should have. He should have been down here by himself. And the 4 of you should have been around here so that you can convert on a Baron if you get the opportunity. So you should be focusing more in the mid game to be able to convert on Baron within 10 seconds if you need it. You're helping out this push because if they're here you might as well help. So I guess since all 3 of them are here, coming to help the push isn't really a terrible idea. Your AD carry had no reason to run away. They have no way to get to him. Without Nidalee, they have no way to get at your backline. Now you're doing a cute little death ball. Bronze things. Hopefully you take Dragon. You're going to Dragon, which is good. These guys are sitting there holding their dicks. At least you can solo Dragon. Okay, you can solo Dragon. You have 4 Spiderlings at this point in the game. Okay. No. Okay. Why are you down here? They are almost all back and strong because they've been able to buy, because they've been killed. They've been able to buy within the past like 5 minutes. You guys just took Dragon. They know you're here. They should know they're stronger than you. So they're going to be here. Taking this camp and letting these 3 sit is probably the worst idea. Let them take this camp, but you get these 3, then you back, and then you can convert your pressure into Baron is probably much better. Blitz sitting here, I just don't think all 3 of you should be here. I think all 3 of you should have backed and then gained a fresh set of momentum later. Now you have to walk all the way back here to clear your camps. Look at this gold sack. You have enough for another needlessly, or you have enough to finish this, whatever it is you're building. Now you're starting Baron. This is not the time to start Baron except in a bronze game or a silver game. You have no business taking Baron because their inhibitor just spawned, so they don't have to commit someone to it. You also have no business taking Baron because you see literally only Nasus. Now you see none of them on the minimap. So if Nasus just disappeared, you know they're going to come and kill you. Meanwhile, it's a 4v5 because they're probably going to have 5 people come crashing up here. The only good thing about this Baron call is that you have these 2 wards stopping them from coming in. But this Baron call is risky. The only reason you were able to take Baron here is because their team is bad. And you actually mistimed your smite by 100. But it's a bronze or silver game, so you were able to get Baron because the other team doesn't have the right play around Baron. Okay, with Baron, your team should be focusing on taking this inhibitor back. Looks like that's what you're doing. Blitzcrank took a million days to buy his stuff, which is funny because Blitzcrank's Rod of Ages is like the least important thing for him to have. But I think all 5 of you coming here, or 4 of you plus Shaco bottom, is probably the best idea. So hopefully that's what you do, is use your Baron to siege. You need to be, while Jhin is taking this, you need to be his meat shield. He's probably going to die now that Nasus burned his flash. Unless you land a stun on Nasus right now. Okay, so you do stun Nasus. He's able to get away. That was good. Yeah, Blitzcrank is retarded. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to go back. I want to play this fight out in its entirety. This fight was lost because of Blitz. So he's snared. Because, so you snared Nasus, which is good, because you're appealing for Jhin. What Blitzcrank should not have done is said, oh, engage on the snared target. Blitzcrank really screwed that up. He's dead because of Blitz. If you guys had just kept walking, Nasus would have never caught you. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But that was primarily Blitzcrank's fault. You did the best thing you could have in the beginning of that fight, which was peel, and Blitzcrank should not have committed. but there was no way of you to communicate to not commit. God, you are getting carried so hard by this Shaco. He just got a double kill. Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay, this has been sitting there for a long time. I think it's... Yeah, it's just so that you have the extra... So it's not bad to sit it in your inventory just because of Nidalee. Like, that's probably fine. The 25 MR is gigantically important. And Frozen Heart's probably a good pickup for your team. Mostly because Tristana and Yasuo both rely a lot on their attack speed. So I think this is a good pick. And then the Rylai's wasn't a terrible pick. Okay, so you need to have decided what to do earlier. Unfortunately, Blitzcrank and Jin died along like 15 or 20 seconds ago, and you were here. So basically, your only option there is to build momentum for when they spawn. Taking Scuttlecrab here is one way of doing that, because Scuttlecrab will coincide with Dragon in 120. So I think this is the right decision, knowing that they just got all picked off. You should now be planning on the next play that's to happen in 1 minute, which seems to be the Dragon play. So I think that this is fine, and all 3 lanes are pushed, so you don't really have that option. Okay, you've got 1 ward here. You should be placing it somewhere. Probably here, because you want to be able to have a ward up for your Dragon run. Sleeping that was kind of redundant, because you walked all the way up to here before Yasuo noticed you, which means he only saw you in his own vision. They had all Fog of War here. So sleeping this was kind of redundant, just because you saw Yasuo's reaction to you walking up in his face. That should have told you enough that there were no wards. She's backing on a ward. Jin's starting his ult. I hope you guys convert this into a kill. If anything, you should have just flash E'd her. Don't be afraid in the late game to burn a flash for 1 kill, because 1 kill can be converted into both of these inhibitors probably. Okay, Dragon's in 20, so you need to be rotating over there. You should probably place the ward here or here to go get Dragon, but you guys need to be there during Dragon's spawn. And the fact that you guys are just sitting here on like nothing, like you're literally not pushing a wave. I mean, taking this is fine. It looks like you sent Shaco to solo Dragon. That's fine too. I like the safer bet of 5v Dragon. You can take it in like 4 seconds. Here you guys are basically asking to get caught, because one thing your team does not have is ability to disengage. He's slow. He pulls people to him, not pushes them away, and you're slow. So I think this wasn't really the best option. Looks like you guys are just kind of posturing around the mid game. Shaco's gonna get a solo pick because he's gigantic. So he just burned 1 ult and healed. You guys need to use that momentum to take these inhibs. If someone goes up here to take top lane, I'd be sad, because there's nothing to benefit from that. He got caught, nothing you can do. You guys are kind of getting, like, your priority is to protect Jin from this. So he used flash, not much you can do against that. He had spell shield as well. Yeah, your priority right now is disengage. Hopefully you do that. That's a good jump to your minion. Yeah, clearing your buffs is fine. You cannot 2v4 this. So it sucks that you had to give up your turret, but you could not have 2v4'd it. Meanwhile, Shaco got 2. So I think That's fine. Get your red buff. Might as well. That way we're not gonna die. And then you guys end the game because Shaco is freaking gigantic. 17-0-0. That's one of the best scores I've seen in a long time. He basically built. Well, he built 50% crit. Yeah, that Shaco was huge. Anyway, so in the end game screen, I just want to kind of comment on the major things that I'm seeing. The biggest praise, I guess, is like your ability to gank mid was really good, and that's essentially what won you the game, was getting Shaco to be 3-0, and then from there he was able to get 15 kills on his own. So your ability to help this lane out in particular was what won you guys the game. He probably wouldn't have got fed on his own without your ganks, so that was good. I think the biggest criticism, the biggest thing to work on is planning more than 5 seconds ahead. So you should be planning a minute ahead. You need to be pathing, knowing what you're doing in a minute. You need to have your jungle path reflect that. Ending the game with 119 jungle creeps is really, really low. And there's probably not even that many jungle creeps. You should have probably had another 8 or 10 camps by the end of this game with efficient pathing. And you would have been able to make the same plays. You just would have had the pathing to actually towards those plays that you're predicting to be making. So I think you need to be reading the minimap more often and asking yourself, what should I do in a minute based on this minimap? And obviously, like, the 3 big things would be gank a lane, keep farming, or go back to base. And ganking a lane is usually designed to, or like the best way to decide to gank a lane is if you're reading that the lane will be pushed in 1 minute to the point that I can gank them. Or in this game's instance, you could also say I'm going to gank top when Yasuo, or when Tryndamere is 6, because it's super easy to tower dive as a level 6 Tryndamere. So those are just things, those future predictions are the sign of a bronze jungler versus a platinum or diamond jungler. It's just like making deliberate motions on the map that are motions that are going to be like fulfilled in a minute rather than just right now immediately reacting. It will also have made some of your decisions more efficient. Like I remember a particular gank. You were here, you walked up to like the scuttle area, and then you walked down to gank. When what you could have done is just walked immediately straight down and ganked, and you would have actually converted on that gank, which was like a level 3 or 4 gank, which would have even more quickly snowballed your godly Shaco. So just try and focus on being deliberate in future games. Read the minimap. Every single camp you clear, you should look at all 3 lanes to read how they're going, and then from there make decisions based on that.